All right, welcome back to the non-award-winning podcast. There Will Be Bond, episode 86. Today we're going to be covering minutes 109 and 110 of Casino Royale. I've got Rob Smith over there.
Hello.
How we're doing today, Rob?
I'm very well. A bit tired after my week of Bond adventures, but we'll come to that later.
Let's get to that immediately. Well, let's get to it right now. I mean, you're fresh back from Istanbul.
Anything Bondian. This is
your anything Bondian. This is your
like,
almighty.
Where do I begin?
Oh, God. Well, look, take it from the start. So,
we both did Amberley, didn't we? But we can discuss that with your anything Bondian.
Yeah, go for it.
So that was that was on the Sunday, wasn't it? Last week. And
Amberley Museum from A View to a
Museum,
Kill.
Yeah, 40th anniversary of View to a Kill. But we did that together last Sunday, so we'll come to that. And then I flew to Istanbul the next day for 4 nights on the Tracks 007 trip with Martin Mulder, and it was incredible. All the locations from Russia with Love, Skyfall, and a little bit of The World Is Not Enough as well.
And you got on top of the Grand Bazaar?
Yes. So I've got to sort out all my photos. I've got literally hundreds, but yeah, that was a highlight. I sent that to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
That was a real highlight because I think it wasn't like just a sort of an exclusive thing. This is something that anyone can do. I actually met someone at work who's from Istanbul, and he's been up there. So you just have to find the right tour operator who will take you up there.
Right.
But you actually do go up onto the roof where Daniel Craig rode the motorbike in the pre-titles of Skyfall, and it's pretty high up, as you've seen in the film. And you literally, where he rode along that flat stretch, we just walked along there and along all these roofs.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, if you're scared of heights, I wouldn't recommend it.
When I went to Istanbul, I did the Grand Bazaar. I didn't have any contacts there. I tried getting up on the roof. I asked everyone, and finally I got to see someone who just basically told me to turn around and
really
get the fuck out. Yeah, which is fair enough.
Well, if you go back, you need to speak to Martin, and he'll give you his contact. Very nice lady, very attractive lady, very easy on the eyes. She was, I can tell you.
Did you get her number?
No, but Martin,
for tour guide purposes, of course.
Martin's got her number, so
for tour guide purposes, of course.
But we were all in agreement that she was very easy on the eye, and she took us up. Well, no, she didn't take us up there. She sort of gave us the waiver that we had to sign our lives away in case we fell off the roof and died. Fine. And then we all went up there in little groups of 10.
Right.
Because you couldn't take too many people up there, and you just follow this like security guard who walks out in front of you, and then you all walk in a line.
Right.
But amazing up there, incredible photos.
And did you get up there when you go, what a view, as you said to her?
No, because that's the wrong film.
I know.
Don't do the wrong film.
Did you get her in any of the photos?
No.
Damn it, Rob. Thought we could upload them to Patreon so everyone could go over and
I'll have a look. She might be in 1 or 2. I'll have a look. I took so many photos. But yeah, that was a highlight. Another highlight for me was having a coffee at exactly the right table where Benz, the Russian security man, is sitting in From Russia with Love when he jumps up to get on the Orient Express.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I did see some of those. It's got you had like the metal structure behind it that's still there.
It's still there.
Like a pylon almost.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, how come that's still there? And the cafe is amazing. And yeah, so stuff like that. And there's so many things, so many sections of that film. And that's one of my all-time favourite Bond films. I bloody love From Russia with Love. So it was terrific. And there were quite a few JBR friends on this trip. There were 6 of us all together from the JBR group of friends. And Darren Noble, one of our patrons, he actually said to me yesterday that this trip for him is almost up there, if not neck and neck, with the Piz Gloria trip.
Ooh.
Yeah, that I didn't go on and that everyone else went on and said this is the most amazing time of their lives. So that shows you this was pretty good.
Who else was there? Joe, the enthusiast, Bond enthusiast?
Yes, he was there.
Talking about his Blu-ray covers?
Yes. And who else was there who you know?
Mike Poplowski.
Mike Poplowski was there, yes. I'm trying to think of
what was your hotel like? Tell me about your
Awful.
Hotel.
Awful.
Oh.
It was above a nightclub.
Okay.
So some people have really noisy rooms with music. I didn't have that, but I did have a couple shagging above my room one night. About midnight, I heard the bedstead banging against the wall above me and the bed creaking and squeaking and creaking and getting faster and faster. And then I heard this woman groaning and groaning and then shrieking louder and louder and louder, and then it stopped.
God, that Mike Poplawski is such a woodsman.
Honestly, I mean, for God's sake, you'd think they'd be embarrassed, wouldn't you? In a bloody hotel, for God's sake, with paper thin walls. And Simon Firth was next door to that, the author. He was on the trip,
right?
And
did he hear it?
He heard it as well.
Yeah. Look, there is no lonelier sound in the world than listening to other people have sex next door when you're not having sex.
I used to get it a lot in my flat in Surbiton. People below me.
Well, other people having sex.
Yeah, it was never me, was it?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Just confirming. I just wanted you to say the words.
You know.
So that was good.
Occasionally it was me.
Right.
But not very often.
No.
And I always felt very self-conscious if my girlfriend was making noises like that. It's like, hang on a minute, keep it down, love.
Oh, really?
People can hear. Yeah.
No,
I don't want the neighbours hearing.
I do.
Oh, well, you would.
Mainly it's just me, though.
You're just an exhibitionist, aren't you?
I'm really
and my room in the hotel had no window because I was in between two corridors. So there was one window and it looked out onto a corridor. So it was just a curtain and you couldn't really see anything. So that was awful as well because you've got people on either side like banging doors and shouting and so the room was shit. And I had a great big bathroom though. And I had a jacuzzi, like a whirlpool bath jacuzzi for 4 people.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. I mean, you could practically swim in it. It was so big.
Did Bond stay anywhere when he went to Istanbul?
He did. And he said the room won't do.
That's right.
Sorry,
the bed is too small. But is that a real hotel?
It's a set.
I know, but did he walk in?
No,
I'm trying to remember.
No, I know, because it would have been nice to stay there.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shit hotel. The bloody whirlpool bath turned itself on in the middle of the night. Made this terrible noise about 3 a.m. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I thought the bathroom was exploding.
Okay, you're not selling this to me. I like the Grand Bazaar bit. I like the people next door having sex bit.
But you don't like the whirlpool bath turning itself on. The same thing happened to Richard Neves. His whirlpool bath turned itself on in the middle of the night. You couldn't turn it off. Pressed every button, it wouldn't go off. I took the bloody card out of the wall to turn the power off and it still kept going. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This bloody machine turn it off. It's like waking up the whole hotel.
Outside of that, though, good trip.
Yes.
Did you do the tower? You know, the world is not enough tower. What's it called?
Maiden's Tower. We saw it from a distance on the boat.
Okay.
We didn't really go up to it, but we saw.
But can't you? You can.
I think maybe, but we saw it. We got a good photo of it, and also we got Electra's house that you see.
Oh,
which I think is meant to be Baku,
right?
But it's actually
Across
Istanbul.
the river.
It's on the Bosphorus, yeah.
Right.
So we went right past that and got some cool photos. Ooh. But there was very little actually shot in Istanbul. It was literally second unit. None of the actors went to Istanbul.
Right.
None of them. So that scene...
Wait, what, for World is Not Enough?
Yeah, sorry, for World is Not Enough. Yeah. So that scene where you see Pierce being bundled out of the boat and the scene where you see Robbie Coltrane like coming out and guns and things.
Sure.
That was all shot at Pinewood.
Right, I see. And
they had a screen behind where they projected all the footage filmed by second unit in Istanbul. And it looks really good. You'd never know. Looks amazing. But yeah, so it's sort of minimal. The World is Not Enough. It was more from Much for Love and Skyfall, really. But we saw loads of locations from that chase at the beginning of Skyfall. So where he comes out, you know, when is it? Bronson? What's the name of the guy who's injured at the beginning of Skyfall?
Bronson.
That agent, Bronson.
The worst name in all of the Bond fandom.
So that building...
Bronson didn't make it.
Yeah, that building used to be a bank.
Yes, I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's now a hotel.
Right.
And so we all got to walk out of the door and we all got our photo taken outside, and that was very cool.
Question. Inside the Grand Bazaar, is there a window? Because I was looking for this when I was there. Is there a window where the bike goes through, where Patrice goes through?
Yes.
Is that like actually in the bazaar? Is there
yes.
Yeah? You saw it?
We saw it.
You saw it?
Oh, nice. I got pictures of it.
Well done.
I didn't drive a bike through it.
No
one did. But we didn't see it from up above,
That's because you're on the economy tour.
Yeah. But no, it was cool. And so much from Rush with Love stuff. And we did a lot of Rush with Love stuff that was new, that nobody had ever done before. So Thomas Gleisman, who is like one of the aficionados in this sort of thing, finding locations. It's him and Uwe, the two of them. They love it.
And Jason Kim and Oscar Verport, I would say.
Yeah, but I'd say Uwe and Thomas are like world class, like number one. They like to find it before. They find it before anyone else, and they take great pride in that. But anyway, we visited places that neither of them had been to before, and Thomas was on the trip. These are new places that have just been found, which is all to do with the train. And when they're out in supposedly Yugoslavia, that's actually just outside Istanbul. When they get off the train, and when they when you see the car parked, and you see Kerim's sons looking, thinking, "Oh, no one's got off," and they get in the car, and it's all rural.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm a bit bored now. Shall we get on to Amberley?
Okay.
Well, we've done 10 minutes of...
Okay.
And we've got so much to get through, haven't we?
We have.
Got to get the minutes. We've got
Yes.
Patreon.
But I will post lots of pictures of this on Instagram so people will be able to see.
Fetcham Lad.
77. Yeah.
Fetcham Lad. 77.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good, Rob. Well...
Amberley.
Well,
yes.
we both went to Amberley.
We both went to Amberley. We both have very different experiences, I think.
So this was my first time to Amberley.
Yeah, my third time.
Your third time. And I would say that I found that the staff were very nice. Like, 'cause some of them were, if not all of them, volunteers, right? So they're all they're all helpful,
yeah.
you know, and they're all trying to make sure that you're going the right way, and you've got what you need.
Yeah.
The Bond tour that we did right at the end,
Yes,
that we
with
had
the
to struggle,
lady
that I had to smuggle you on.
Yeah, the lady who organises events, I believe, was our tour guide.
She was very good, and it was an exclusive James Bond tour. It wasn't like, here's a tour of the museum and a little bit of Bond. It was, this is an exclusive James Bond tour.
So she had photos and stuff.
Yeah.
This is where they filmed this. This is where they did this. She was quite jolly hockey stick, didn't you think?
I thought she was great. Yeah. No, I did. I thought she had quite a bit of enthusiasm. She liked Bond. And this is the last tour of the day, so she's obviously done this ad nauseum. But how everything was empty back when they filmed it, right, 40-odd years ago. It was just the quarry.
Yeah.
And now it's filled with, like, bus shelters. It's got train tracks, like proper...
They've built
shops and workshops.
Buildings, yeah.
So you have to almost think, well, where did Stacey get nicked? You know, when the Zeppelin comes down or whatever it is, the blimp, right?
Yeah.
And you think, oh, right. And you and Mr. Latchford found like a tiny bit of stone or a bit of a cliff, and you kind of matched it.
And she did talk about that as well on the tour.
So I thought that, and she confirmed it.
Yeah.
And so there were things that I thought, wow, this was just nothing back in the day, and it's like it was in those.
That's
but
right.
And now they've
developed.
Now they've filled it with lots of.
Well, it was 40 years ago.
I know.
And
so
it's become
I
a working
that.
museum since then.
I liked. What I guess I didn't really like was where Mayday comes out of the train tracks, and then she goes, "Get Zorin for me," and then blows up. They have the Zorin trucks that go in there, and there's a train track that lead into the mine.
Yeah.
But you can't go in.
No.
You can't go in for...
No.
Now, if this was...
Did you not know that? Had I not told you that?
I did know that, but what I was hoping for was a better excuse as to why you couldn't go in. Apparently, it's just because you can't go because there's bats. I'm like, well, get them fucking bats out.
And it's disgusting, and everything's like rusting away.
But they've let that rust away. You could go in there, clean it up, and have an experience in there. You should be going into that mine, and there should be a light and magic show, and there should be a video of Mayday
get
on the track.
Lamont back from the dead, rebuild the set from Pinewood,
reanimate him.
Because she did say, the woman, that they always have people in there who are like, oh, so can't we go in there and see all the mine? And it's like, no, because that was Pinewood, and people don't realise that was a set, and they're all disappointed.
But there is a lot of commercial potential there, and they could expand upon it, and I don't feel like they're doing it. That's my only downside. Outside of that, we got very lucky with the weather.
We were incredibly
lucky. I liked
with the weather.
seeing John Glenn, even if it was from afar.
Oh, I was right in front of him.
Well,
you were messing about taking photographs and getting your picture taken with your hard hat on.
Yeah, I got that.
I was filming. I was doing all important filming for our channel. Yeah,
did very well.
Yeah, go and have a look at our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. There's a good little video you uploaded, isn't there, which had mine.
You did very well.
Filming of the unveiling of the plaque.
Did very well.
Yeah, he's incredible, John Glenn. 93
years
old.
This is what I like about even he when he's doing the Q&A. He goes, "Well, I've told this before," and he's pointing to his wife Janine. He goes, "Oh, and she's heard it 1,000 times before, but I'm going to tell it anyway."
Why are you going with Michael Caine?
Because this is what I do when I impersonate other people. But I really like the fact that John Glenn is 90-odd, still turning up on the circuit. He's out doing whatever he's doing in Shanty right now. Operation Pegasus. He's doing the rounds, and he's really giving back. Like, I know he does autographs and get 20 quid, and it's all cash under the table.
But he loves it though. He loves it because he's written a book about it.
So I feel like I just miss. It's a shame, and I think it's really weird that other people don't within the Bond world.
Yeah, like the more contemporary directors.
Yeah, that aren't on the back of this, that don't do this.
I know.
I mean, I saw a photo of David Arnold. He tweeted a picture of himself outside of Amberley Museum.
He went after we did.
I'm like, did he see all the footage come out online, or did he deliberately not want to be around Bond?
Who
knows? Anyway, but if you were Grace Jones, you'd go, hey, why isn't anyone inviting me to this? I want to come to all this stuff.
Oh, she wouldn't want to go.
But I'm just saying, it's
she wouldn't do any of that.
It's a shame that you have the director want to. Anyway, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's great that he does.
I think there are a lot of people that are hands off, and there's not enough people like John Glenn in the world.
I asked a question.
Oh yes, what was your question?
I asked a really good question. Did you hear my question?
No, I missed
it.
No,
you were too busy arsing about having a picture taken with your hard hat on.
Too busy.
So my question to John was this: in the last scene of A View to a Kill, how much was improvised by Roger, and how much of it was directed by you or in the script? Because I said, if you remember, the very last line when they're in the shower is "Ooh." Was that Roger? Was that your direction, or was
Did
that
he
in
have
the
to come
script?
back and overdub?
And he said that was Roger. He said he always did stuff like that, and he liked improvising, and if it was funny and we liked it, it stayed in the film, and we loved that, so we kept it in. I was like, and everyone said that was a good question.
Good question,
because no one's ever asked that before, and it's literally his last sentence, isn't it? As Bond,
that's
his
not
last,
the soap, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not so. And his very last utterance in the role is "Ooh," and then the credits roll, and it's like, I bet all the Roger Moore haters will probably be squirming in their seats, going, "Oh God, thank God he's gone." Ooh, bloody carry on, Bond.
That's something I wanted to talk about. Okay, we're
going to carry on films.
No, we're going to get onto the minutes of Casino Royale in a sec, but I will say this. What I'm seeing out now with what's going on with the 007 GB boys and everyone enjoying themselves in
Chantilly,
and what's happened in Amberley recently.
Yeah.
And you know how much I love A View to a Kill. So this is, I feel
and
like
Roger,
they're
hence
really
calling
enjoying
your dog Roger.
They're really enjoying a renaissance, this film. I feel like it's getting projected. I feel more people are coming around to the idea
that
good. This is a film that should be celebrated and not kind of be embarrassed about.
That's nice.
I mean, who knows? Do you reckon Die Another Day is going to enjoy a 40th?
Oh, probably.
I mean, but to
it
this
does
extent,
have its lovers, But
it
has its fans.
I don't mind Die Another Day, but in terms of appreciating, anyway, that's just my thought. So I'm just glad that it's back in people's consciousness and friends.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's good.
Shall we get on with the minutes of Casino Royale?
I think we should.
Right. Okay. So, where did we leave it, Rob? Can you remember?
I knew it was too early to promote you.
Well, I understand double O's have a very short life expectancy. So your mistake will be short-lived.
So he just turned the car over. He was being dragged away, thrown into the Jaguar. And I think that's pretty much where we left it, isn't it?
We're going to pick it up from here. Bond's in a bit of shtick, and we'll see you on the other side. There we go. Bond's just slumped into the back seat of the car there. Vespa looks on. Sorry, Rob, you can't see.
All bruised, isn't she?
Now, where is that? Where are they? I know it's a barge.
Know.
I know. They're driving down to a barge.
I'm sure we can find out what that is.
Well, I put the feelers out already on this.
I saw.
Yeah. Okay. Very creaky door. Vespa's getting dragged away. Uh-oh, here's a chair, Rob. There's the chair. They've hollowed out the chair, Rob. Love the lighting on this people. Oh, they just ripped these completely starkers. Oh, Rob! Rob! What about that? So, Bond is really, really in trouble here, isn't he?
He is.
Get off your phone.
Well, I'm trying to find out where this place is.
No, well, can you find out?
Venice.
No.
No, that's the.
Don't listen. I've been googling. I've put all the feelers out. Yeah. I've been
so you've been googling
feelers.
already. Oh, I don't know. Then I thought I might be able to quickly find it for you.
No.
We'll have to.
So look, if anyone's out there that knows where that barge is, I'd be very interested to know, because you don't see Uwe going there.
No.
Reach out to your mate Thomas
Gleisman.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll ask him.
Yeah, ask him. Ask him.
And Martin might know.
I know.
I'll see Martin on Sunday. I'll ask him.
Yeah, ask him. All right.
So
Your takeaways
it's
from
a good. It's a good minute. This, isn't it? It's. I mean,
it really sets it up, doesn't it?
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the main scenes in the film, isn't it?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Do you know what? When he gets bundled into that car, that Jaguar, and then you see it changes to him pulling up outside that. I mean, it looks a bit industrial, doesn't it? It's just a disused barge, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like from the industrial zone of the Crystal Maze. Do you remember that?
Do you know what that reminds me of? This reminds me of the scene in On a Major Secret Service where Bond is taken into Draco's Rolls Royce with his golf clubs, and they pull up out, and that's quite industrial where they pull up, isn't it? And he gets out, and then he has that big fight with them, and then he meets Draco, who's playing chess with a limp.
Yeah, Draco's not in the Rolls Royce.
No, it's just his henchman, isn't it?
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like the villain, basically. Yeah, I know it's not the villain in Majesty's, but he's being taken off in a car to a place, and it looks all deserted, and it looks a bit industrial. So that's where I got that vibe from. Where that car pulled up, it just reminded me of that Rolls Royce Corniche pulling up. So you know the scene I mean?
I know the scene you mean.
Yeah. So initially I saw, I was like, ooh, that's a bit deja vu there, you know?
I see.
Yeah. But what an amazing set though when they go inside.
Yeah.
So Peter Lamont built that, didn't he? And it was just like, wow. Apparently that location of the barge, they do talk about that on the commentary, and they just said that it was somewhere that they'd been scouting around for something else. Yeah, and they just happened to see that, and they're like,
so Phil Mayhew
actually,
said that
is it for him? Yeah, he says that could potentially be good for this.
Yeah, so
let's go there for this.
He took a photo of it,
right,
and it was supposed to be for something, like you say. And then he goes to the director. He goes, "Well, actually, it doesn't make sense for them to go to a room or a house. We need something that's completely isolated."
Yes.
And what's more isolated than a barge that stores boats?
Yeah.
Right. No one's going to be walking around at the dead of night, and that gives you that sense of dread as well. That no one's coming for him.
And I mean, the fact that it's a barge and it's quite sort of small and everything, and you've got the streaks of light coming in, and the echoing sounds. It gives that wonderful atmosphere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the way it's lit is just beautiful.
Yeah, because they needed to make it look dim and dark and dreary, but they had to have some light. So they had this kerosene. The one light was a kerosene lamp, but then you couldn't light the whole set with just one lamp because you couldn't have electric in this barge, right? So that's how.
So they had to have the holes with the streaks of light coming through.
So they then have like the skylights at either end of the boat to kind of offer some kind of illumination. Right?
Yeah. And it works brilliantly.
Yeah, and Le Chiffre comes in.
Well, they first of all it cuts out the seat.
Actually, do you know what this is interesting about him cutting out the seat is that there's no dialogue between Krat and Le Chiffre, so it feels like they might have done this before. They're not new to the game, not their first.
This could be a favoured execution place, couldn't it?
Yeah, so they just go straight in.
They got a whole load of these chairs in a warehouse while they're all lined up. Right, let's get another one out. Let's go. Let's ruin this chair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, they're only cheap things, aren't they? But I remember the first time I saw this, and it had been years since I read the book, but I do remember that is in the book, isn't it? They do cut out the seat in the book.
Yeah.
And
and then
you know what's coming.
This
when
for
they
me,
do
the
that.
whole sequence of him chasing Le Chiffre, like we spoke about, she gets the memo, he has to go out, she's kidnapped, they crash the cars, he then gets hauled away, gets tortured, gets his bollocks swacked. And even, we'll get to it in, not this show, but in a couple of minutes, even the demise of Le Chiffre is pretty much nailed on to what it is in the book.
Absolutely.
Even to the point of view from where Bond is. It's kind of like it's written in point of view of Bond.
And I think that's why this film succeeds on so many levels, because they were faithful to the book a lot. And I personally think all the best Bond films, and this is just my opinion, but my personal favourite Bond films are the ones that stick to the books.
Like A View to a Kill. And Moonraker.
Like From Russia with Love.
I see. Oh, yeah, I see where
And
you're
Dr.
going.
No.
I see where you're going.
And Goldfinger.
I see where you're going.
Yeah.
And On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
And On a Majestic Service.
See,
My
we
favourite
could go.
book. My favourite book.
Yes.
But yeah. So, but you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah. And I think, it was a great thing they did. They finally had the rights to this book, and they used that wisely. And obviously, it's quite a short book. They had to expand on it quite significantly for the film. But all the really good bits of the book they got in there, including this. So yeah, I think that was brilliant. Very, very good call on their part.
I like it. I like the lighting. So the sheath is like half in, half out of the light as well. I got what did I get from? Oh, shall I read you a little bit of Taschen? What they talk about in the Taschen book?
Yeah.
So there's a chap called Jamie Russell. I'll have to look him up on IMDb. I'm not sure what Jamie Russell's got to do with it, but he says the chair was fitted with a fiberglass screen to prevent any unwanted injuries to the leading man.
Oh, really?
Although played with bravado humour, the scene was an important one. Neil Purvis said, "If we had come to Barbara and Michael and said, we want Bond to play poker for half an hour, have his balls whacked, not escape from the villain, and then have his double agent girlfriend commit suicide, they would probably have told us to get lost. But because it was Fleming, we had the mandate."
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so it's like, that is your get out of jail free card. It's like,
actually,
Fleming wrote it, so we've got to put it in.
In the audio commentary that I have that you don't have, unless you've gone out and bought that deluxe edition Blu-ray since last week. You haven't, have you? No. You need to get that, Pete.
But when I do, I'm going to get it, and I'm going to
ram it down my throat, aren't
bring
you?
it on you. And we're like,
You're going to hit me over the head with it, aren't you? But in that commentary between Martin Campbell and Mickey G, they do mention that, and they do say that the studio was very worried that Bond's tied up by the villain and is beaten to a pulp. How could you let that happen to James Bond? And they were like, oh well, you know, the studio was worried about this, the studio was worried about that, but because it was Fleming, they could get away with it.
Exactly what I just said. Do you want to learn a bit about the? I didn't need the fucking commentary for that. I got the Taschen.
You have.
Have you got the Taschen?
Yes.
Have you?
I have. I've got two, actually.
Have you? Ooh.
Yes.
Have you got the?
Because I won a Taschen, the more updated one, that last Shaken Not Stirred quiz.
Oh, well done.
Actually, no, it wasn't the quiz. It was the roulette.
That makes sense.
I got the right number on the roulette, and they go, "Here you go, Rob." I was like, "Oh, I got one of them. Thank you." So I got two now.
But it's an updated one.
It's an updated one.
What have you done with the old one?
I've put it in my guest bedroom, the From Rushford Love room, so people can peruse it. Guests can peruse.
But do your guests just go, "Where's the updated version?"
Well, I've got that.
But they're like, "Why don't I have it in my guest room?"
Well, it's tough shit.
Yours is just gathering dust.
Mine's...
But it's not...
I'll swap them over.
You
when you
swap
come and
over.
stay, I'll swap them over.
And you should give the other one away. Look, you got to pay it forward.
No, I will do.
You got to pay it forward.
When we next do a JBR quiz, which occasionally happens.
You should definitely look.
I'll put it forward.
You
as a
got
prize.
given one, didn't you, as a prize?
Yes.
See,
so I will.
See,
do. They're good books, those. They're very bloody big, though.
Yeah, don't need bloody two of them. Greedy git. Right.
No.
I want to talk about the knife real quick, and then we're going to get to an interview.
The knife.
Yeah, because Krat does a thing with the knife and he hollows out the.
Oh yeah.
It's important. These things, yeah.
What's important about the knife?
So a balisong knife, a butterfly knife. So a balisong is the name of the knife, but it's better known as the butterfly knife, and that is a type of folding pocket knife characterized by its two handles that rotate around the blade.
Oh.
And these handles conceal the blade when closed, allowing for various flipping.
They're fighting.
No, they're not fighting. Roger's trying to
It looked a bit
have his
bad
way with
there.
Mishka. Yeah. No,
it's
he's like, look,
there's
she's
two animals running around
I've
while
got
we record
my cat
this.
Mishka and Roger the cockapoo. They get on so well. sometimes they get on a bit too well. And this is about this mating ritual. Look, see?
Okay.
Look out, look, she's a floozy. Look what she's doing.
I was just a bit worried about her then. It looked like he was going for her.
Well, he is going for her. She's presenting. That's what she's doing right now. See?
Anyway, sorry to interrupt. It just got a little bit precarious over there.
I think we've covered enough. So, how about, Rob, we cut to an interview now. I spoke to Richard Hutt, who made Ian Fleming's Bond map.
Oh, yes.
Fleming's London, I'm sure. I'll put a link in the show notes to it. It's very good. So, at the same time that I released the London Bond map with all the film locations and literary locations, there was another map that was coming out. But this is purely Ian Fleming stuff. So I sighed a huge sigh of relief.
Yes, good.
And,
wasn't competition.
No. So I spoke to Richard. I wanted to know all about the process, and very interesting it was too. So here is Richard Hutt. I'm joined by Richard Hutt. Richard Hutt is the creator of Ian Fleming's London. The map I have in front of me, although it's getting a little bit fuzzy with the virtual backdrop, but that's fine. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Going great guns. Well, listen, congratulations on the map. I know it was probably released about 3 or 4 months ago, I want to say.
Even more so.
Yeah.
And as I'm sure you know, you stay sane by letting go of the detail after you've done it. So apologies, I might have to refer to my reference copy throughout the conversation.
No, that's fine. Well, I asked Richard if he wanted to come on and have a chat, and he goes, well, I'll have to go through some of my research notes. And I said, look, I know what it's like because I've co-authored a book about James Bond's style, and I've interviewed like 50 odd brand people, and there's no way that you can just retain all of this information. And I didn't really want you to just have to go through it all like a Rolodexing your mind and giving out nuggets. But I did want to have a talk about how it came about. You're interested in Ian Fleming and what your approach was to putting this map together, please.
So, I mean, my interest in spies, real and fictional, I mean, that would take the entire podcast, but I grew up in central London. You know, the first grown-up TV I watched was Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. So I'm sure a lot of people with a fandom for James Bond would say there was a point, particularly when you're younger, where the real and the fictional, you're not really clear where the lines are drawn, put it that way. And that's actually where this started. So I was talking to Ben at Herb Leicester about a map a few years ago that would cover the spies of London, the real spies of London and the fictional spies, because in both cases there are so many stories to tell. So I started putting together a sort of rough list of what sort of locations we might think about, and it didn't take long to realize there's way too much here for one map. So the first map I did for Herb Leicester was the real spies of London. And again, really, the job there was of editing it down, because there were so many stories, there were so many rabbit holes you can go down. There are reasons that the city, I think, lends itself to spying. It's an international nexus, but also it has the atmosphere, doesn't it? It has the stuff of spy fiction, and frequently you'd find real life spies mimicking that.
Yeah, totally. So this is your 4th map now, and how did you go about mapping the locations? What's your process in putting all this stuff together?
So I became aware dimly of, and you'll have to remind me the name of the author, did do a book on James Bond's London.
Oh, Gary Giblin.
That's correct. And I thought, right, I'm not even going to look at that. That's cheating. I'm going to do my research. So it was really starting with the man, Ian Fleming, before the books. So, I mean, obviously I had the pleasure of rereading all the books, but as you'll know, opening scenes, but not that many interesting scenes set in London. You know, part of the point is he's always about to go somewhere else. And there's a sort of sense in which James Bond's London is a bit sort of, well, it's where he hangs out between jobs, if you like.
Niche within a niche, really, isn't it?
It is. But so I start with Ian the man, and as you know, his life was fascinating. And I was fortunate to start doing the research just when the Shakespeare book came out. And it's so comprehensive. I'm sure there are reviews which would say it could have been a shorter book, but for me, it could have gone on forever. You know,
Same,
it's
yeah.
so detailed, so granular, and so interesting. You get the man behind the caricature, I think, from that book, and starting to plot, you know, the places that were pivotal to his life and getting a sense of his story felt to me like the right way to go about this. So I was looking. I'd done something similar with the John le Carre Smiley map. Was so something that Fleming and le Carre, David Cornwell, have in common is they write from what they know. In the case of John le Carre, that included, so when he was writing about the circus, he'd have gone down to the location, taken loads of photos, blown up the photos and pinned them around his writing desk. So he was writing to very specific places. And I think Fleming follows that same path of admiring that sort of verisimilitude, giving a real sense that he knows what he's talking about. And so it follows that a lot of the places from his life are going to pop up in his fiction. And so they did. So I mapped Ian's life as best I could, the pivotal moments and the interesting asides and the good stories, you know, like the wartime party in Trafalgar Square with the stolen Christmas trees and the bottle of aquavit, you know. And then I went through the books and I tried to enjoy reading them rather than force myself to, you know, just be focused on the locations. But it didn't take too long to come up with a sort of master list of both. And then it was a question of how do these two overlap, and can you see the areas where something from Ian's own experience spills over into the books and is reflected back. And like the le Carre one, it doesn't take long to put those two things together.
Yeah. Did the Nicholas Shakespeare book come out before you started putting the locations together and then you were able to lean on some of the descriptions in the book, or did it
No, it was
come out
perfect
halfway?
timing. It was one of those really serendipitous moments. Perfect. I'm looking for a really comprehensive account of Ian Fleming's life. Oh, hello.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah. I've really enjoyed that book. I mean, it's about 30 hours long on Audible, so I was able to listen to it whilst walking my dog, but then bought the physical copy later just so it's good as a reference because it's got the index and things like that. But
I
yeah,
mean, if you love research, it's a gift putting these maps together, as you'll know from your own work. It's you never know what you're going to stumble across, and you know there's detail that can't make it in. That's perhaps a little bit niche and just very interesting to me about little tiny details. You
yeah,
know, le Carre, the le Carre version of the map. There are so many instances where more than Ian actually, where I almost felt like he was leaving breadcrumbs in order to find certain locations that he'd give you just about enough where you could almost glimpse where he's talking about, or there'd be a street name that you'd think, is that a clue?
yeah,
And with him, probably yes, it was.
yeah. And then sometimes he would change the names of the hotels so it wouldn't be so obvious of where they are. I think there's one in the Strand, from if memory serves. It's a different name, but it has to be the one because it just couldn't be anything else facing that train station. So yeah,
Oh, he drove me mad. Drove me mad. David Cornwell, John le Carre, because there are descriptions of a place in South London which is so clearly one particular place, and then it suddenly so clearly isn't, and you think, oh, you're just playing with me, aren't you?
yeah, torturing me. So
But
did
I
you?
spend a lot of time with both of them on Google Maps and Google Earth, and just trying to sort of work it out from the little clues. And what's helpful with if you know somebody likes to write from life, you think, right, that means I can take these clues that you've given me seriously. If Bond is talking about the smell of burning leaves as he's going past the park, what park might he have been driving past?
Mm,
Although, as an aside, so by the way, this is this is very niche, but as an aside, that was actually quite rare for Fleming. That was a mistake, um, which he copped to subsequently. Somebody complained that actually they couldn't have been burning leaves because there'd been an act passed about that, and actually they were prevented from burning leaves at the point that the book was set. So he copped to that and said,
Ah,
sorry, mistake.
interesting. Yeah. I wonder, like, that really must have pained him as well, because I've made a couple of mistakes. When it's in print, it really does hurt. I mean, if you do a mistake on a blog or something like that, then it's, yeah, or a vlog, it's like, who cares? You know, go in or do an edit. But yeah, if it's in print and it's out there, it's like, oh, damn it.
And I think that's what you get from learning about how Fleming conducted research. He wanted to get it exactly right.
Mm.
And when he got feedback, for instance, on who was the correspondent who pulled him up about firearms,
Uh,
and then became a regular correspondent on it,
is it Major
he took it
Boothroyd?
serious.
I think.
Yes,
Mm,
yes, and he took it really seriously.
mm.
He wanted to get it absolutely right, which is why he went and talked to the experts. What did you do for research in the days before the internet? If you wanted to know about gold,
Mm.
go and talk to a goldsmith.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and he went where's that? It's not the Bank of England, but there's like the gold jewelry place. The name escapes me, but I know he did a lot of research there. It's just in the city.
Yeah, and there was, strange details. Hang on, I'll find that because there was a strange connection. It's Goldsmiths Hall, wasn't it? Is
Yeah,
that right?
that
Yeah.
sounds familiar because I've been in there and asked if I could have a look around, and they quickly told me to hit the bricks. I said, I'm a James
Yes,
Bond fan. Why can't I?
yes, because you're a James Bond fan
Yeah,
and what you
more than
might be up
likely.
to.
More
But there
than
was
likely.
one of them was there was a strange coincidence in one of them that the murals were by the lover of Maud Russell. But that's just one of those odd little coincidences. I don't even know
Ah,
if that detail it made it into the map. But
interesting.
so thinking about his attention to detail, which of course makes this sort of research much more fun because it gives you more clues to chase down. I think that might have come from his time at Reuters
Okay,
and as a newspaper man and that sort of exacting approach to accuracy, which I have a lot of time for. Part
interesting.
of what I do in my day job is about accuracy. And there's a comfort, isn't there, in reading someone that takes this stuff seriously, that if he's describing something to you, it's probably going to be bang on.
Yeah. So it sounds like you had a lot of research and information that perhaps didn't lend itself to a map because, there's only so much that you can put in a map in terms of text. Were you ever thinking of, well, maybe I can do something with this literature and expand it into a book?
Do you remember what Peter Cook said when somebody told him they were writing a novel?
No, remind me.
He said, "Really, neither am I."
Nice.
Um, so yeah, it would be great, but
Although I
there's
do have
there's
his
a few
novel.
other
I've got his compilation. It's Tragically I Was an Only Twin. I mean,
the compilation because everything he
compilations.
actually
Yeah,
started. Yeah,
yeah.
um, it's on the list. It would be brilliant, and you know, uh, I mean, Fleming as a character is endlessly fascinating because he had a really interesting 20th century. I mean, God knows, I think Shakespeare hasn't left anything left for anybody else to write about.
Yeah.
But as I don't think we know the half of the adventures that Ian had.
Well, they burnt so many of the documents after the war as well, so a lot of that stuff will never be retraced. I
And
was.
yeah, I mean that struck me as really interesting because you could wonder about that. What if the stuff you did in wartime was endlessly fascinating, really
Mm,
interesting, and then you were not allowed to talk about it? And during the war, if somebody called you a chocolate sailor or what have you, you just had to take that on the chin. You couldn't say, "Oh no, I'm actually working on something really important," and you just kept quiet about it.
yes, that
And where would
quiet
that urge?
dignity.
So where would that urge go? That to tell your story, because when you've done something like that, you want to tell the world, but you
Mm,
can't.
yeah,
Um, and so I think that's one of the answers to where Bond comes from.
yeah. He had to exude it somehow, didn't he? Like
Yeah.
cathartically release it from himself. I was going to ask Richard, switching gears slightly. Uh, I have to ask, did you have any engagement with the Ian Fleming estate at all, or is that mainly down to the publishers that have to kind of deal with
I
those sort of
leave
things?
that one to in the capable hands of the publisher. But
Right.
yeah, I would assume that somebody's story, somebody's fact story of the story of their life is pretty much in the public domain.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that to the capable hands of the publisher.
Interesting. Much easier. And did you have to dip into the Bond community, as it were, like in terms of your research? Did you have to reconcile any of the information with any of the I know James Lee, I think, or sorry, David Lee,
Yep.
did something
I
as
did. I
well.
did some fact checking. Yeah, with a couple of experts, including David. It was really helpful
Mm.
because given Ian's reputation for accuracy, the last thing I wanted was to pump out something that wasn't true. And as you'll know, when you do research like this in an internet age, a bit of misinformation can become a fact very, very easily. It just needs to be repeated a
Mm.
couple of times, find its way into print, and then then where James Bond's flat is. Actually, so I didn't take anything at face value. Everything on the internet, I took a minute to satisfy myself. And where I couldn't decide, so for instance, I don't think we know which one is his flat, but there's some pretty good arguments in a couple of directions.
But is it the 30 Wellington Square?
That's the plausible one, isn't it? And I find William Boyd's article on that is quite plausible.
Yeah.
I suppose it's about how hung up you get on the detail, on things like window shape. It's
Yeah.
all about fenestration ultimately. But if you're willing to grant Fleming a little bit of poetic license, I think that's probably the prime contender.
Or lack of detail. I mean, like he didn't describe the statue that was in the square. If it had been 30 Wellington Square, then he could have pointed out because that statue's been there since as long as he was alive. So it would have
It's
been
the
in there.
that's a good
Anyway,
point. It's the dog that didn't bark.
there we go. That's the phrase I was groping for. Well, I have this thing about I mean, yeah, going back to what you're saying about misinformation, it can just be hearsay, then it can be print, and then someone else will hijack that and then talk about it as if it's gospel. I have this running joke on the podcast about Duke's Hotel,
Mm.
and I've contacted Duke's a couple of times and asked for some real definite proof that Fleming went there, and they said no, very openly. They said we don't have the definite proof. You know, it's just kind of hearsay, basically. It's passed down these stories, but yet they kind of prophesize these stories and make entire Ian Fleming cocktail menus, uh, and I just cannot get my head around why people latch onto this because it's. I mean, Fleming went to the Savoy. I mean, that's in the Nicholas Shakespeare book. He talked about how bad the martinis were with during wartime. They're using bathtub gin or something like that. So you have him going into the Savoy and you have him going into the Dorchester. These are all documented. Yet nobody wants to talk about that as an Ian Fleming location. They want to talk about Duke's Hotel. So I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here, Richard. But I was wondering, did you have any other research that could confirm or deny the Duke's myth?
So I ended up at the same place as you did. I would say there is some value in a legend, printing the legend, a story which is good because the story is quite a fun and interesting story. And I used to go to Duke's when I lived in London just because I didn't know about the Fleming Association. I just knew that was a hell of a martini. And I'm happily married, but as a first date location, you really cannot beat Duke's for a martini. If that doesn't
100%.
work, I don't think anything is going to work. Um, no, there's nothing concrete. It's plausible though, because if you look at the geography of it, absolutely somewhere he would have
Oh, 100%.
been
Yeah. Yeah.
walking past,
Yeah.
and walking past a place that did a decent martini. Yes,
Yeah.
but what I did find was where are we? Give me a moment. He wrote at one point to the Guardian to say that personally he found the taste of the martini unpalatable.
Oh,
So
really?
if you start unpicking myths, You'll start with, did he drink there? And then you'll end with, did he even like martinis?
Was it even his thing? Oh God! Well, I hope
I
that.
think he credited, I think, the Vesper to Ivor Bryce.
Hmm. Well, the Vesper was concocted in Jamaica, right? Because he was round someone's house with Ivor Bryce probably, and then this maiden comes in with the drinks and says Vespers are served, and I think again I always
I
screw this
mean,
story up, but I think
I,
that's kind of the birthplace of it. And
and it sounds plausible, but you remember, you're hearing the stories of, you know, people who were quite quite drunk at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
The detail, I'm sure. I mean, Fleming liked to tell a story, and I'm sure he wouldn't let strict accuracy stand in the way of a
yeah,
good bar time fable. And
yeah.
I'm sure, so I doubt that he would object. I suppose our question is Duke's a really lovely place to have a martini and sit and imagine that Ian might have had a martini there, or that a fictional character might have had a martini there? Yes, but then so is the Savoy.
100%, 100%. And well, if you do go to Duke's, as I always say, make sure you check the receipt because after a couple of martinis, you never know what they might tack on at the end. Listen,
Well,
I've said too
even the
much.
straight up legitimate prices, quite an intake of breath, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah, the most expensive martini in London, more expensive than the Savoy and the Dorchester. Even though, listen, I've said too much. Richard, it's been a pleasure having you on. And where can people find you? I mean, obviously the map is available through the Herb Leicester site. I'll leave a link in the show notes. But do you have any personal Instagram or socials that people can pest you on?
No.
There you go. You're like a
That's
real rogue agent. You're like a real
uh,
spy out there in the world.
yeah. I'm discreet on social media, so no. But I mean, you can find anyone nowadays, can't you?
Yeah.
But no. But I would commend your listeners to Herb Leicester's other offerings as well, in addition to the Fleming and Bond. There's Le Carre and Smiley, and there's Mick Herron's Slow Horses.
Wonderful. And congrats again, Richard,
Thank
on
you.
a wonderfully put together map and a very concise map as well. A lot of fun to read and follow around London. Richard, until next time.
Cheers.
All right, Rob, we're back. How about that? Thank you, Richard, for jumping on. Rob, you're going to enjoy listening to that, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
You never listen to the inserts.
I do.
You do, but
I
only...
do. I listen back to the pod.
You do.
Yeah, just to make sure it's all okay.
Yes, make sure you're okay.
And it's not just from a point of view of being narcissistic at all, listening to myself. It's just to make sure it's okay.
It is. It's more. So I send Rob the file. Go, is this all right? And you go, I'm really loud laughing. I go, I know. I can't do anything about it. That's why Anastasia has relegated us to the summer house.
Bring it down. Bring it down.
We're not
a
allowed to
notch.
record this in the main house because.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. We are cracking on now with minute. Crikey, what's the minute? What minute number is it?
110.
110. And I should say that this minute is sponsored by both Wilde&Harte and Propstore.
Yay.
Because we forgot to do the sponsor on the first
We
minute.
did, yeah.
So Wilde&Harte, my favourite British razor brand, you can get a discount, 20% off with WH20. Ooh, that was a nice little timely tone, wasn't it? WH20 at the checkout to get something British made, a British razor. How about that, Rob, eh?
Fantastic.
Yeah. And Propstore, propstore.com, where you can get all the wonderful film memorabilia. At the moment, they've got free James Bond lots on that you can bid on. They've got the Whittaker costume, and you've got
Which Whittaker costume? He had loads.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Really?
Yeah, and you've got.
Really?
Are you not seeing all the newsletters?
No.
No, you're not. See,
You don't send them to me anymore.
I do. I send them to everyone.
Do you?
Yeah,
you
the
used to,
newsletter.
you used to send it to me to proofread. You
But
stopped
then
doing
it kept.
that.
Well, I stopped doing it because you wouldn't.
Oh, it didn't work.
Yeah,
did
it didn't work,
I
yeah.
think it'll work now. Try again.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. So I'd send the newsletter. Okay, can you just check the spelling, check everything else, the links work, and then like 2 days later you go, "Are you going to send me the newsletter?" I'm like, "I sent it to you, Rob."
I didn't get it.
Check your spam. And you go, no.
Didn't get it.
But check your spam, people, because the newsletter goes out and you can get links to these sponsors as well.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
you
I'll have a look at that.
Yeah,
Propstore.
you should do it.
Yeah.
It's,
Not that I can afford to buy any of it, but
Rob, it's a sponsor. You got to. Okay. don't chip in with the sponsors. Just let me do the sponsors. I don't need anything back from you on the sponsors yet. Fuck's sake. All right. Okay. Let's get to minute 110. Bond is tied to the chair. I feel like fucking doing that to someone else right now. Right. Here we go. Fucking nightmare. He looks around. Vesper gets dragged off there. Oh. In comes the rope. Bond is in the complete nude.
Wow. You've taken good care of you, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Such a waste.
Ooh. Here we go. Swings the rope. There it is, like a pendulum. Oh, Rob! Rob, we got it! Wow! What an end! Oh, I'm glad he got to swipe it just at the end there. I'm glad he got impact.
I can't bear to watch it, Pete.
Oh.
I can't. I'm feeling pain right now down there. Aren't you? Are you just like, you're coming out in sympathy, aren't you? It's like, Jesus Christ.
I
it's
do
just
like
awful.
that sound that Craig makes is perfect for the first tap, isn't it? Because like it's only a delicate tap, isn't it? Well, he's trying to keep it all in. He's trying to be an Englishman.
He is. Oh,
Jesus.
charming.
Sorry. It's all this prosecco, Rob. It's going a bit bubbly.
Yeah, he sort of goes, doesn't he?
But the first one is a.
Yeah.
Imagine a bit like that guy next to you in the hotel room in Istanbul.
God, let's not go back there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, it was her. I didn't hear him. It was just her. Anyway.
You'd rather it that way round, though, right?
What, her, not him?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It's generally the women who shriek during lovemaking.
The ones that you listen to in hotel rooms.
And the couple that used to live below me in my flat. It was always her.
All right. So, takeaways. Walk me through the minute, Rob.
So in the book, it was a carpet beater, wasn't it?
Yes.
It wasn't a rope.
No.
No.
It's not a
Why
rope.
do you think they changed it?
Because no one really beats carpets anymore with that thing. And plus, I think a rope looks a lot more menacing, doesn't it?
It
It looks
does.
more raw. I mean, the whole scene is stripped down raw. Like, he's stripped
Like,
down.
literally, including
He's stripped
him.
down.
Yeah.
The whole. There's nothing in this barge apart from disused chairs, right, and chains.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the lighting is raw.
Yeah, so there's no
Everything is minimal and
and it's very in keeping with not only the book but the film. Everything has been stripped back. There's no gadgets to get him out of this. There's no laser from the villain. There's no high tech anything.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of rope, his bollocks
Back to
hanging out in the
basics.
wind, and he's in trouble. He's in
He
real
is.
trouble.
It's pretty.
So,
It's pretty
but
grim, isn't
also,
it?
like,
It's-
I think just getting a carpet. You see one of them carpet beaters because I actually
Yes.
googled it today. Cause
yeah.
like,
You beat a carpet with it to
yeah,
get
but
stuff
I'm
out
like,
of
I've
it.
never visually. I don't know if I've
Have you
ever
not seen one?
Well, I had to Google image one, just to make sure.
Oh yeah. Have you not seen $1 Million Duck? There's one in that.
Okay. Is he
Yeah.
beating the duck's bollocks with it?
Yeah,
or-
no, she's got a big rug in the garden and she's beating it with a carpet beater.
Right.
And
$1
there's
million
like dust
duck.
coming out of it. Yeah.
Who's in that film?
Dean Jones. Sandy Duncan.
I do hope that's not in your top 10. Oh, we should
It
say
might be.
for the Patreon episode, we're going to run through our top 10s, aren't we, Rob?
Have you never heard of $1 Million Duck?
No.
It's about a duck that lays solid gold eggs.
I've never heard.
It's a Disney film from 1971.
Never heard.
Well, it's on Disney Plus, so watch it, and you'll see the carpet beater in that.
I'll be
There you go.
disappointed that no one's getting their bollocks beaten with it. As soon as that carpet beater comes out, I'll be like, I need to go back and watch Casino Royale. I tell you what, though, there is an image of think it's Peter Sellers in Casino Royale 66 sitting in a chair, and there's a carpet beater behind his chair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Google image it.
Okay.
Google image.
Know that.
Google image Casino Royale carpet beater. Right? I think
67.
Well, you don't even have to put that. I didn't type in 67. So just Casino Royale carpet beater. You got a picture of Peter Sellers sitting down in a chair, and there's a carpet beater behind him.
I have never noticed that.
Let's have a look at that.
Because, yeah.
But it's not an instrument that looks like it can It
That's
can't.
that scene where it's all really bizarre with Orson Welles, isn't it? And he's like talking behind the screen.
So anyway, that's why they used a bit of rope. I think it just looks a little bit like it's going to do more damage for a start.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it? Am I right?
Well, this thing here.
That's a carpet beater. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how about that?
Interesting.
Right.
I have never noticed
So
that
there is a
before.
carpet beater in Casino Royale 67.
Yes. Wow.
But I think if you get that thing out in this film, it's going to look a little bit weird.
There you go. That's a carpet piece.
I know what it looks like now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think you should still watch $1 Million Up though. Not just for the carpet beater. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on the film.
okay, I'll give it a go if it's ever coming across my radar.
And Anastasia would like it
Okay.
because she likes animals. It's all about the duck.
Do any animals die in the film?
No, it's Disney.
Okay.
No.
Oh, what about Bambi? Bambi dies.
Oh, well, no, Bambi doesn't die.
Oh, the
Bambi's
mum dies.
mother dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, not in $1 Million Duck. No, it's all good.
What about Lion Man? No,
What's
Lion
Man?
King.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Lion King?
No.
It's Disney.
Yeah, but it's new. I wasn't a child.
Not
when
that new.
I wasn't
Lion King was around in the 90s.
1994. Yeah, well, I was bloody doing A levels when
So
that
wait,
came
anything
out.
that's not in the last 30 years is not considered.
Yeah, no, I wasn't watching Disney films then. I was into Bond.
All right. Okay.
I was, yeah. Anyway,
We've gone off track.
let's move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that minute, I mean, God, the lighting and atmosphere work so well, and
Yep.
Mads is just fantastic in this.
Oh. Well, I didn't know, Rob, that the cinematic release had deleted scenes.
Oh, from America, not from the UK.
No, specifically for the UK.
Really?
It was in America. Yeah.
Oh,
So-
from this scene, because I know that in America they had stuff cut that we didn't have cut.
Okay, so I'm only going by what I've found online.
Right.
Okay, and I'll leave links in the show notes to this, and I'm sure people listening are going to happily correct me, but here goes. So, according to, melonfarmers.co.uk.
What the fuck?
The name of this link was Melon Farmers. The name of the website, yeah.
Oh, Jesus
so,
Christ.
the bit where he goes... He drapes the rope around his neck and he compliments him on his body. That's all fine. But then when he goes, what a waste. That bit was cut.
Really?
Yeah, because it was deemed too sexualized.
For the UK?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I've got a quote. Here we go. Yeah, I've got a quote. Who's the quote from? Who says it? Right. Martin Campbell was surprised that such minor changes were all that were required to Casino Royale. In England, he says, they don't give a damn, and said that the violence is terrific. It was amazing to me that they let as much of they did through. On the other hand, the reaction from the British cinema-going public was not quite so terrific, as the BBFC later stated in their annual report.
Oh.
They said, this was the most complained about film in 2006.
Really?
The majority were about the level of violence in the film, commenting that it should have been a 15.
Really?
Turn to page. And it was felt that the torture scene was still considered very strong despite being reduced. So they reduced it, you see. They about draping the rope over the shoulder and whispering, what a waste. The shots showing the draping and removing of the rope and Le Chiffre's second line were removed entirely. In an interview with James Bond fan site MI6 in 2006, director Martin Campbell remarked that the BBFC's issue with this particular shot was that it was a little too sexual for their tastes.
Okay.
Now think about that, Rob. Think about that. I've never thought about it before, but I have now.
Well, yeah.
When he goes, what a waste.
I hadn't thought of it like
Yeah,
that.
he's like going, God, you've been working out, haven't you, mate? And then, wow, what a waste, eh? He's saying, what a waste of a perfectly chiseled body.
Well, because he's about to kill him.
Yeah. But there's a little bit of eroticism that's also implied here. Are you
Do
getting
you
those
reckon?
flavours?
I'm not.
To be honest with you,
You think he fancies it then?
well, he's already admired his body.
Yeah, but
He's
that's
already-
just. I was going to come on to that because this is.
But then, why would he say what?
I
Why?
think anyone would say that if they saw that body.
Yeah, okay. But what
You
about
don't
the
have
next
to-
line?
You don't have to.
What
be-
about the next line? What a waste.
Well, that's because he's about to kill him.
But what a waste of a good body. Like, why
I don't
would
think
you
he's
say
like
that
coming
as a
on
guy?
to him or anything.
No.
No, I don't think so. No, because that body. I mean, this is only the second time we've seen this body, isn't it? In this film, the first time was in the sea in the Bahamas. That famous scene where he comes out. And this we haven't seen him stripped since then.
Yeah. Well,
So
actually,
it's
no.
quite
He's on the
something.
laptop. He's on the laptop going through the.
Oh,
Yeah. He's
yeah,
going
yeah,
through
is he not wearing-
Lashif's.
He's not wearing a shirt then.
Yeah, no. He
I've
gets him out.
forgotten
Yeah.
that.
I haven't.
No, you haven't.
No.
I have.
I haven't.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
Look, I
but
get
this
your
is
point.
the fact. But
No, I
then
get
you
your
see
point.
his whole body here. I mean,
Yeah.
he's naked, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see his meat and two veg, thank God. That's it's very cleverly lit and positioned, so you don't see that.
Yeah.
Because then it would be an 18. They might, yeah. I mean, they couldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, I think when you see that whole body and it's pretty bronzed, isn't it? And you see all these muscles and everything, I don't think you'd necessarily be gay to appreciate that.
No,
I think anyone.
I don't
would
mind that
appreciate
bit, but what a waste is the
yeah,
line. And that's what the
yeah,
one.
but it's
That's
a waste of a good body, isn't
but that's
it?
what they're. That's
Because
what
he's
they're
been
cutting.
working out.
But
He's
that's
been
what they're
working
gonna-
out to get that body like that. What a waste! Because he's going to kill him. That's the way
I'm just
see
saying.
that.
Some people are thinking different. They've interpreted that differently.
Well, that's up to them.
Well, the BBFC had interpreted
That's
differently.
up
They
to
cut it
them.
out. They cut it out.
Yeah, well,
But it was later put back in.
good. I'm
Well,
glad.
as we know, because we just.
Yeah, well, we
just
want
said-
we
yeah.
want it in. We want the film as it should be. But yeah,
Do you want to know what kind of knot it was
go on
the
then.
rope? I googled.
Is this boring?
No. Well, I wanted to know where the rope was.
I mean, we're not all Cubs and Scouts, you know. I mean,
No,
it's
but-
about knot tying.
Look,
You're going to
the
show
bit-
us how to do it.
In terms of props out there, right? So you have people that make James Bond coasters. You have people that make James Bond mines. You know, from GoldenEye. You have you
Do
know
they mines from
making the
GoldenEye?
mine. Yeah,
Do they?
yeah. You've not heard of making the mine?
No.
Anyway, it's a guy who's making all the GoldenEye mines. You know,
What mines?
when he sets the mines, goes the same 3 minutes you gave me. Those mines that he.
Oh,
sets up.
yeah.
Anyway, look, fucking hell, Jesus Christ. You have people that make props in James Bond films, Rob.
Oh yeah,
Why do you
like
have to
X-ray stew. He makes those explosives
Thank you.
that Stacey sat on in the
Thank
thing.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have people that make props.
Yes.
Now, why aren't people making the rope as a prop? Is what I want to know, right? That just seems to be a pretty easy one. You could just get that from the nearest shipyard.
Well, that's why no one's making them, because anyone could do it. Just get a rope and tie a knot in
No
it.
one's doing it. Have you
Well,
seen?
There's a market here you could corner pick.
Yeah.
You're gonna start selling these on eBay.
I'm just saying, it's an opportunity. It's out there. No, I don't see anybody unless somebody has got this rope in their collection. Because I googled where is the rope that hit Bond's bollocks. Well, I figured it's a really
Oh,
important
my
prop
God.
in terms of iconic props from film.
Trust you to want that. Something that's touched Daniel Craig's bollocks. Only you could
Are you
desire
sa-
to
all
have
right.
that in
Are
your
you saying you wouldn't-
collection
are you
amongst
s-
your rocks.
Are you saying you wouldn't want that?
No, I most certainly would not. Well, fortunately, as you said, it didn't touch his bollocks because there was a screen there. But
Sure.
you don't know
But
know
in
that.
terms of props,
And people will come and look at it and they'll go, "Oh, it's touched his bollocks. Oh, what have you got that for? It's disgusting."
It'll be in your From Russia with Love room above the headboard. I'm
But
just
yeah.
saying, it would be a good idea to have someone out there make these.
So is it a specific knot
Yes, it's
then?
a specific knot.
And what's it
And
called?
well, I was googling the knot, and it could be a couple of knots. It could be the large wall and crown knot with a close.
So we
back
don't know.
Splice,
It's one of two.
or maybe some sort of modified monkey's fist made with thicker rope and with the closed back splice. Question mark.
Monkey's
Question mark.
fists.
Yeah, it could
Don't
be a
like the
monkey.
sound of
could
that.
be a well, you certainly wouldn't want either of
Ooh.
those near your.
No.
near
Okay,
your-
so we don't know. It's one of those two.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Maybe someone out there can help on this. They might be
Yeah.
able to, they might know which one it is. They could write in and tell us. That would be good.
Making the rope. That would be the next Instagram handle.
So when you know which knot it is,
Yeah. Let us
then
know.
you need to start making these, Pete, and selling them.
Yeah.
See if you want a winner, people actually buy them.
I think it's the fucking best. I don't know why it's an insane choice. I think people would like that.
Well, give it a go.
Okay.
You can sell them alongside your Shades of Bond.
Whilst I was going down that rabbit hole, last one. So apparently the chair nearly broke when they were filming.
Oh,
this.
really?
Yeah. So Daniel Craig said in an interview, "I'm sitting in a chair naked. It was a thing that was the shape of my backside in the chair which I sat in. The rope was actually swinging right up under this thing, and it was hitting the chair as hard as it sounded. So I had to give over to the fact that this thing would not break because Mickelson was swinging the fuck out of it," he said. But Mickelson recalled, "Daniel, it did break. It was made out of plywood, and you got splinters going up like that."
Oh no!
I think that comes from the interview. Do you remember they did an interview over Zoom, the two of them?
Yeah.
And they went over like that scene.
Yeah.
Like through lockdown. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. That's where they spoke about it. Yeah.
Oh, poor Danny boy. He got splinters in his arse. You'd think he'd remember that.
Anyway, Rob, we've been going on. Shall we get to? Well, I think we should really get
need
on
to
to the
wrap this
Patreon
up.
show, right?
Yeah, we need to
it
wrap this up.
We've got a Patreon show, haven't we?
Another episode to bloody record.
There'll be more Bond and a YouTube video to record.
Yes.
So we will get to some thank yous. Well, tell you what, someone's bought a map. Oh yes,
Hey.
a couple of people: Jeff Denbuck, Mike Mitchell, Stephen L. Mulbauer, and Alison Taylor. You all bought maps. Thank you. You get a thank you from them.
Oh, thank you, 007.
And wouldn't it be great if you just leave us a nice review? If you like what you hear, you might not be able to chip in for the Patreon show, but you might just leave a nice review. That will help us out. You might want to subscribe to the YouTube. That'd be good if you subscribe to the newsletter. Hey, Rob.
Oh yes.
Like you.
From taylorswithlove.co.uk.
Well done. Well done. Okay, great. And I think we'll do the Patreon. What's going to go on Patreon show?
Well, we're going to talk about our all-time favourite movies that aren't Bond, aren't
Look,
we?
because I tell you what, there's not much happening in the world of Bond news. That's why I haven't got any news.
So we've got 10 films. I've been sent away and asked to write down 10 of my all-time favourite films.
Yep.
Ranking in order.
Yep.
Which I'm going to go through.
And
You've
I've
done the same.
I've done
and we
the
have
same.
very different tastes in films.
Oh, do we, boy? Okay, so
My
that's going to go
God.
on the There Will Be More Bond show.
Yeah.
And you can join for just £2. About £2 a month.
it?
That's one of the lower tiers. But if you want
Yes.
the bonus show, it's about £4. £4 or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll
It's
leave
nothing.
No, it's
£4.
not. I've got to go pee, Rob. I've got to pee.
Oh,
Really.
okay.
Okay. Until next time.
Ciao.
Oh, God, I needed to pee hours ago.
But you went to the loo. You left the door open. It was revolting. As you're doing now.